Welcome
Oh, that's a
to our
very
Q&A. This is my full problem. Anyway, okay. So I'm gonna open up some questions. All right. Because both of these films are so vulnerable, I wanted to know that if, and this is a question for you as well, if while making it, did it bring up any, was it hard to watch it coming to life? Was it hard to write it down on paper and like basically relive those experiences that were so difficult for you?
Yeah, and I think for me, everything about making this film was emotional. It started out because I was already struggling emotionally, and that's what inspired it. And then as I made it, meeting the families that I met and talking to the kids, talking to the parents, it healed a lot of things. So in some ways, it was amazing and beautiful and like the best thing that could have happened. But at the same time, it would poke at all my little tender spots and remind me of things that I had forgotten, especially filming at Wonders and Worries with those kids in those support groups. Hearing them say things that I remember myself saying when I was younger just really hit home. And I remember having a similar experience where I was in the middle of filming and I just had to excuse myself for a minute because I just couldn't keep it together and I didn't want to cry in front of all the kids while they're having therapy. So it was really emotional. But another aspect of making this film was that my dad died during my making it. So that really made it hard to continue. Not only because I had viewed it as being one thing before he died, and then when he died, I felt like I can't just not bring that up. I have to share that it didn't end in a happy way, in a perfect way. So it changed the way the film, it just evolved in a way that I never would have predicted, and it made making the film take an extra year because I was grieving on top of trying to edit a film and complete a film. So there were days where I just couldn't bring myself to sit down at my computer and stare at my dad for hours. So yeah, it was a really emotional process.
Yeah, that's amazing. And you touched a little bit on the next question that I was going to ask is, on the flip side of that coin, what did you find therapeutic about working with this? And, even as an actor, what did you find therapeutic about working with the film, if anything at all? It could have all just been bringing up a lot of stuff and not therapeutic at all, but
I would say the most therapeutic thing, there were a lot of things, but the most therapeutic thing would be that connection with other people that I felt. And, growing up, and we talked about this a little bit in the panel earlier, but growing up, when you have sick parents, you feel like you're alone in it.
Yeah.
You feel like I'm the only one that's experiencing this. You look around at all your peers and all of their healthy parents, and they're just living it up seemingly from your perspective, and you're going home and thinking about what might happen in the future and if your dad's going to see you graduate and all these scary things. So it was really rewarding to experience that connection with people like me who grew up the way I did. It was very healing to feel less alone.
You know what? I'll say this. I think the collaborative process of the film was good for me because one, I had very good producers. I had excellent collaborators at every step, from the writing, pre-production to production, even to post. For me, especially getting to work with Leo, and seeing him just kind of like absorb the story and absorb the character, and like I don't feel we had to talk too much or communicate too much about what was needed. Like, he kind of just became the character of Roger in the story, and he very quickly kind of brought a lot of emotional realism in a way that like I related to well. It was interesting. It's like I felt like I got to see these emotions he was going through while making the film, but I actually got to see it from the outside, and I was like, holy shit! Like, yeah, I get it. Like he's emoting. He's like showing things that I felt at the time. So I don't know. It was an interesting process. I mean, I think what helped me the most ultimately, like therapeutically, was actually just therapy.
Yeah.
Because I was doing therapy before the movie. I was doing therapy during the movie. I was doing therapy after the movie.
Same here.
So yeah, I want to thank my old therapist back in New York.
Good shout out to
Great.
the therapist.
Yeah. I want to shout out to New York Medicaid
Yeah.
for paying for that shit. I want to shout out New York Campaign for Health who's trying to get the New York Healthcare Act passed. I'm gonna pour myself out and say that constantly. Everybody should get universal healthcare in this goddamn country.
Yes.
Yeah. Sorry. Did I totally just
You answered the question definitely, and you actually led us into my next question. It's sometimes we think we're just making movies, but you never know how somebody's going to view it and how it's going to affect them inside of their life and open up and there, like you said, there's only one organization for this issue inside of the entire world. But after your film gets out there and people start watching it, it's not going to be that way. So did we have a audience question from earlier? I remember somebody saying something about it. Was it? Yeah.
I have a question for children of diseases. I was wondering, is this your first film?
Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah, it's my. I made a couple short films before it, but this was my first feature film, and it's the only documentary I've ever made.
And may I ask, did you use an iPhone to shoot or regular camera?
I used whatever I had basically. When I first started, I didn't have anything. Like I didn't have any money. I didn't have any like. I just had a few old DSLR cameras. And at first that really bothered me. I was like, I wish I had fancy equipment. I wish I had all these things. But as it progressed, I kind of started liking it because it felt kind of almost like one big long home video.
Yeah.
And it felt like it was more heartfelt that way in a lot of ways, versus it being some big production with all this equipment and money and things. But yeah, all I had were a couple DSLRs.
I was actually going to comment on that. It did feel a lot like a lot of home videos, and I think that kind of style of things, even if did just begin because of what your resources were, I think it was still a good style choice because it kind of makes you feel like you're there with the families,
Yes.
while they're talking, and you're really, I think it creates a little bit more of a sense of empathy. So I did truly enjoy that, definitely. So we're coming towards the end of our Q&A because I know people want to take their red carpet pictures, right? So this is the part of the Q&A that I call the shameless plug. Okay? So we want to know where we can find you on social media. We want to know what your next projects are. We want to know if you have any distribution. Like you want to know how to watch your films if you weren't here today. So. And if you can, how do I follow you so when you can, I find out?
You can find information about Children of Disease at childrenofdisease.com. It's not out yet to the public, but it will be at the end of November. So at the end of November, you'll be able to buy a digital download of the film or a DVD. And then for me, I am on Instagram as my name, Madison Vanderlyn. And I will spare you the spelling, but if you want to know the spelling, you can find that on childrenofdisease.com and on the awareness website. So on my Instagram, I'm very active. You can also find on my Instagram my YouTube channel, which I'm also very active on. And yeah, for projects that I'm working on quite a few things. Working on a feature-length mockumentary, so more of a comedy about the competitive dance world, which is also something I grew up in. And then I'm working on a couple short films at the same time. And all that information will be on my Instagram as things come out. So follow me there.
All right, and we love to hear it. We are looking forward and good luck in all of your ventures. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And let's take some pictures.
All
All
right.
right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh.